also use an olive oil. Topic that we got a request for. I think it's always surprising. Thanks for the great questions, you guys. Thank you, Sandy. Looks good, doesn't it? I want to hear from you guys. This is the show for you. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so good. So many wonderful people on tonight. Thank you guys for being here. Hi! Happy Monday! Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Cook With Me TV. My name is Ashley Thomas. I am a registered dietitian, and you can find me right here every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. cooking up a healthy meal specifically for people with diabetes. So if you're trying to better manage your blood sugar, this is the show for you. And I hope you give us a like and a follow so you can stay up to date with what we're cooking every week. We also have another dietitian who does Tuesdays and Thursdays, a show specifically for people with diabetes. So I encourage you to follow us so you can get all of these wonderful recipes, nutrition tips, and trusted information from a registered dietitian. Hello, everyone who is on. Alita Avicito, I like your dancing gif. Monday seems to be going very well for you. Glad to hear that. And then hello everyone else who is on. Hi Sandy, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Hey Elizabeth, I'm glad you got the reminder. Thank you for letting me know. Very excited that that worked. Hopefully that continues to work. Hi Mom, thanks for joining. Are you cooking with me tonight? I think that we have someone cooking with me tonight. Very exciting. So if you're new to Cook With Me TV, hi Janice, good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, Linda, you did not miss the live show, unless you were talking about this weekend, in which case you can absolutely go back and watch that. But thank you for joining. If you are new, thank you, Sandy. Looks good, doesn't it? If you are joining Cook With Me TV for the very first time, what we are is a live stream cooking show hosted by registered dietitians who teach you how to cook delicious and nutritious meals. We post recipes every Friday to give you time to go grocery shopping over the weekend, get all of the ingredients that you need to cook these recipes along with us, and then when our live show airs during the week at mealtime, you can prop up your phone, tablet, or computer in the kitchen, enter the live show, and then cook along with us. It's a really great way to practice your cooking skills in the kitchen so you can get more confident in cooking healthy meals for yourself. And then also it's a great way to learn a lot about nutrition and what foods are going to better manage your blood sugar. And just to hear, that nutrition information while you're in the kitchen cooking helps to solidify everything that you're learning here on the show and helps you make better choices later on down the road. So I hope that you join us. I dropped a link in the very top bit of the comment section to sign up for the newsletter. If you sign up for our weekly newsletter, we give you tips for better managing blood sugar every week, as well as all of the new recipes that come out every week. So lots of great resources to help you on your journey to better managing your blood sugar. As always, this show is live. Please ask me any questions that you have. That's what we're here for, and that's the beauty of doing this live. So please don't hesitate to let me know. Oh no, you're not cooking. You forgot to buy the Brussels sprouts. Oh, I want to see that movie. Bev Galloway Saw A Star Is Born. I really want to see that movie. I think I watched the trailer like 5 times yesterday because I really want to see it. It looks so good. So if you are cooking with me, let's go ahead and get things rolling. So what we're making tonight is a maple mustard chicken. We're going to cook that chicken in the skillet. And then we're also going to pair it with Brussels sprouts and apples that we're going to roast in the oven. So we're going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees right now. That's my go-to roasting temperature. It gets things nice and crispy and sort of caramelized on the outside and kind of tender and soft a little bit in the middle, with still just a little bit of bite left. They're not going to be mushy. They're still going to have a little bit of a bite, and it's, my favorite way to eat roasted vegetables. So, as I mentioned, we are going to cook Brussels sprouts, which are a potent cancer fighter. They have sulforaphanes in them. All of the vegetables in the cruciferous family have these sulforaphanes in them, and those are the compounds that help to prevent the growth of cancer in our bodies. So if we can include cruciferous vegetables in our diet 3 times a week, we can help our bodies fight off cancer. And so some other vegetables that are found in that family are kale, collards, broccoli, cauliflower, what else? Brussels sprouts. So those are just some of those vegetables in that family that do the same thing. So what we're gonna do is, we've got a pound of Brussels sprouts here. We're gonna cut these guys in half. And if they're really big, we're gonna quarter them. And we're gonna put them on our baking sheet with some apples. Grab a knife here. Give me a shout out. Do you guys like Brussels sprouts? They are in season. They are a cold weather crop. Yep, Bev does not like kale. She will let the world know. I don't think you're alone. So did anybody do anything exciting this weekend? I was just in Michigan visiting my parents. Had a really wonderful visit up there, as always. Weather's beautiful. So we are going to chop up an apple along with these Brussels sprouts. We're really honing in on those fall flavors this week with lots of fall produce. Apples are in season right now. They are a fall fruit. And actually, when I was in Michigan, my dad has a ton of apple trees up there. And so I am going to cook with some wonderful, crisp, delicious Michigan apples tonight. Super excited. We're gonna go ahead and do our apple. I'm using 1 large apple, or you could use 2 smaller apples. I believe, and Dad, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is a Liberty. So I'm just gonna cut around the core. If you have an apple core, you could do that too. But whatever is easier. And so I just sliced off, 1/2 here, and then I'm gonna lay it down on its flat side so that it's not rolling around and I don't cut myself. And we'll just kind of estimate and cut around that core. And then we're just left with this guy, which you can gnaw around the edges if you want. And then we'll cut these into similar sizes as the Brussels sprouts. The apples are going to cook a little quicker than the Brussels sprouts. So if you cut the apples slightly bigger than the Brussels sprouts, it will help them not become as mushy, and the texture will be relatively the same with the Brussels and the apples. But you can see we have some nice colors in here. We're leaving the skins on these apples. There's lots of nutrition in the skins of apples. Specifically anthocyanins, which are another type of antioxidant that helps to fight cancer in our body. So always try to leave them on as much as you can when you're cooking with them. And I think I'm actually, let's throw these on the sheet pan, and then we're gonna toss these with some canola oil and some spices. So we're gonna do about 1/2 tablespoon of canola oil. You could also use an olive oil, could use a soybean oil if you wanted. We're gonna sprinkle about just a pinch of salt in here. Helps to bring out the natural flavor of those Brussels sprouts. If I had to measure it, it would be 1/8 teaspoon or less. Right, and then we're gonna do a little bit of cinnamon to kind of complement the apples in here, not too much. And then we're gonna do some rosemary to complement the Brussels sprouts. Oop. I'm gonna do about 1 teaspoon of the dried rosemary. If you have fresh rosemary, that would be really wonderful too. You could use a little bit more of the fresh rosemary than the dried. The dried spices and herbs are much more concentrated in flavor, so they go a lot farther. And then we're just gonna toss everything together. Spread it out a little bit. Then we'll throw it in the oven. And again, the oven is at 400 degrees. Hi, Miriam. Glad to see you on. Hi, June. Thanks for joining. Wonderful. So many wonderful people on tonight. Thank you guys for being here. Makes it a lot more fun. As always, let me know if you have any questions along the way. Okay, so what I was saying is that we're gonna put this chicken in a skillet face down first, and then we're gonna mix our maple Dijon sauce to put on top of it, and then we'll kind of baste it and flip it around in that nice sauce. It's very hard to find just 4 ounces of a chicken breast, right? These are closer to 1/2 pound. This is almost a full pound here with just these 2 chicken breasts. And so 3 to 4 ounces of an animal protein provides an adequate amount of protein per meal. And so that's going to be, about half of these guys, because these guys are pretty big. when you eat any more than 3 to 4 ounces in a sitting, your body does not typically need that much protein in one sitting, and so it can't just excrete the excess that it doesn't use, rather it stores it as fat. So, you know, if you are trying to eat a little bit healthier and scale back your maybe your calorie intake, or if you are trying to lose a little bit of weight, and just for general health and wellness, you know, it is good to monitor your protein portion sizes and try to stick to 3 to 4 ounces of meat per serving. And what I'll do is once it's done cooking, I will weigh it out on a scale so I can show you exactly what 4 ounces of the chicken looks like. And I think it surprises a lot of us, and it's not, you know, your fault. I think we've grown up in a world where meat has been the center of the plate always, and so it's very normal for us to look to meat as you know, the part of the meal that's really going to fill us up and make us feel satisfied. But really, we want to try to shift our thinking and look to meat as just a component of your meal that's maybe going to add a little additional flavor, little extra protein to your meal, and not so much as like the main star of the show. We really want to give everything on the plate its own limelight. So the vegetables, the whole grains, or the complex carbohydrates, and the protein equally. Yes, so Sandy is saying the palm of your hand, and yes, that is a really good way to just like eyeball measurement. So the palm of your hand, as well as the thickness of your hand, is going to be roughly 4 ounces of protein. So that's a good way to eyeball it, especially if you're at a restaurant and you don't have a scale, or even if you don't have a scale at home. That's a good way to eyeball 4 ounces. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of canola oil in the pan here, about a teaspoon, and we'll go ahead and get our chicken pieces in here. What we're going to do is just lightly season the tops of these with a little bit of salt and pepper on just this one side that we're going to lay down. And I'm going to lay this in here. I'm going to give my hands a quick rinse. 1/3 cup of Dijon mustard. We're going to do about 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. And then we're going to do about 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. A quick word on the maple syrup. I do recommend getting 100% pure maple syrup instead of doing like a pancake syrup, which is oftentimes confused with maple syrup. And that's because, you know, this is like the good stuff. This is like liquid gold. It's so delicious. But actually maple syrup has lots of vitamins and minerals in it, well, minerals mostly. And then, you know, the pancake syrup is mostly just like high fructose corn syrup and a few other additives and fillers, and there's really no actual maple syrup in it. Yes, this stuff is more expensive, but that's because it's the good stuff, and actually tapping maple trees and getting maple syrup is a very lengthy, time-intensive, labor-intensive process. So that's why it's expensive, but if you don't use a lot of it, then, you know, it may be worth the price for you. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll do 1/3 cup of our Dijon. And I am using measuring utensils for this, just to make sure that our sauce. Dijon has a nice kind of pungent, spicy flavor. It goes really, really well mixed with something sweeter like the maple syrup. And then we've got our apple cider vinegar, which kind of playing on the apple theme here in the dishes. We're going to do 1/4 cup of the apple cider vinegar. Wonderful. And then 3 tablespoons of the maple syrup. Hopefully I've got enough left in here. 1, 2, 3. All right. I'm gonna grab a whisk and whisk this all together. Bev, can you use honey instead of maple syrup? Absolutely. Yes, that's a very good question. Yeah, honey would be good. I know you have lots of honey. I'm going to taste this just to taste it because I think it's going to be delicious. so good. Oh, Danielle, you made it earlier this evening. You used honey instead because you didn't have maple syrup. Awesome. I'm glad you liked it. I'd love to see your picture if you had one. Yes, a very delicious, balanced meal. All right, we're gonna pour this sauce in here. I'm gonna pour it on the chicken too. You know, you could, if you had more time, you could marinate the chicken in this sauce and then cook it in there. That would be really, really wonderful. I'm just gonna pick this chicken up so that sauce gets underneath. And we're gonna let these babies cook. Check on, oh yeah. Oh, those apples are browning up. Oh, they look so good. I'm gonna give them a quick little toss. Those colors. I love fall produce. It's my favorite. What is your favorite season? Favorite season for eating? Let's hear it. Fall, summer, spring. Which one? Summer's good too. I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up, I think. Ooh, Janice says spring. Spring's a good one. All of the, what is it? Lettuces, radishes, asparagus. Oh, yes. Summer, all those great veggies and Michigan tomatoes. I know the tomatoes are so good during the summer. I know what I also love about summer is, well, maybe it's just, I don't know if it's Charleston specific, but they grow a lot of funky radishes here in Charleston, which are really, really good. Fall is your favorite. You love Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving too. It's a great family holiday. Really good one. Yes, fall. I love the root vegetables like the sweet potatoes, beets especially, squashes, so butternut squash, acorn squash, Brussels sprouts, apples. Yep, Sandy, spring for asparagus and summer for tomatoes. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, Bob, great idea for the Brussels sprouts. I love fall and winter. Soup time. Yes, soup. Butternut squash soup, all the soups, any soup. Chili, pumpkin chili. Ooh, pumpkin chili. Might have to add that to the list. The root vegetables, they're good. And you know, the root vegetables are considered starchy vegetables, but there's absolutely a way for you to work them into your diet if you're trying to better manage your blood sugar. Your root vegetables or your other starchy vegetables are gonna fall into that complex carbohydrate category when you're eating them. So, you know, like we always say, filling half of your plate with the non-starchy vegetables and then filling the other half with a little bit of complex carbohydrate and then a little bit of protein. And so those root vegetables, those starchy vegetables like the winter squash, will fall into that complex carbohydrate. So then you would just round out your plate with some non-starchy vegetables, maybe like a roasted broccoli or something like that, and then a protein, of course. So always a good way to work those in. Okay, I'm gonna pull these Brussels sprouts and apples out and turn off this oven. All right, looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this pan off. And I'm gonna cut one of these guys open. See if it's done. I think it's probably done. Yeah. Yep, that's done. Awesome. Okay, so let's measure this and let's see what 4 ounces looks like. Okay, so I've got my scale here and I just randomly cut this in half So let's see what this ends up being. So real quick, I'm going to answer some of those questions. What do we think? How many ounces do we think this is? This was roughly half of that chicken breast. And while you guys are answering that, Tony, aren't root veggies higher in carbs than vine veggies? Example, carrots versus green peppers. So carrots versus green peppers, just as your example, carrots are going to have slightly more carbohydrates, but it's so minimal. It's like, 1 to 8 grams of carbohydrate difference. So carrots we don't really consider to be a starchy vegetable. Really, the starchy vegetables are going to be things like your winter squash. So your acorn squash, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, any of those hard winter squashes. Also things like corn, which is technically a grain, beans, so black beans, chickpeas, those kinds of things. And then potatoes, of course, are going to be a starchy vegetable. So all of those other vegetables, even, the root vegetables, even like the beets, those things, they have a little more carbohydrate, but it's not enough to really concern yourself with it, especially because those things are packaged in with fiber, which blunts that spike in blood sugar that we see. So that fiber helps to really counteract any true drastic spike you might see. So Bev is guessing 5 ounces. We've got 8 ounces. Sam is guessing 3 ounces. Linda's got 3 ounces. Janice is 4 ounces. Ooh. Sandy's agreeing with Bev at 5 ounces. All right, let's see. Drum roll, please, if I had a drum roller. And we've got 3.1 ounces. Hey, that was pretty good. That chicken's good. 3.1. So we could have a little bit more if we wanted to do 4 ounces. So let's do a little extra slice here. See if we can get .7. I could do a little shaving, but that's roughly 4 ounces here. So like I said, 3 to 4 ounces. So it's going to be about that much, which, like we said, about the palm of your hand and the thickness. So this is a little thicker than my actual palm of my hand, but so that kind of like evens everything out. So does that look like not enough? Does it look like too much? Or is this about like what you guys would eat? Let me know. I think it's always surprising just to see that amount. And when you pair it with other things, like you round out your plate with some complex carbohydrate and then some non-starchy vegetables, it really bulks up the meal so it doesn't feel like you're missing out on protein. Barbara's asking, how many carbs do you recommend for each meal? Really good question. I get that one a lot. It really depends on you, a lot of things. Your age, your gender, your activity level, any other pre-existing medical conditions that you might have. But as a general rule of thumb, we say 30 to 45 grams of carbohydrate per meal. And if you are a very active person, or you are a man who is a little bit, who's a pretty big guy, not like that you're overweight, but that, you're tall, you likely require more calories to begin with. So you could probably have upwards of 60 grams of carbohydrate per meal. What's most important is, if you are actively measuring your blood sugar 1 and 2 hours after you're eating, that's going to be the best indicator for you to know how many grams of carbohydrate does really well for your body, because everybody is different. Everybody really does react differently to carbohydrate foods. For example, someone might be able to eat, a cup and a half of sweet potatoes with their meal and their blood sugar is fine, while the next person, having that 1.5 cups is way too much for them, and they would do better off with just half of a cup of sweet potato. So it really is dependent on the person, but 30 to 45 grams per meal is a good number to shoot for, to start out with, and kind of go from there to see what works best for you. All right, so I'm doing about 1.5 cups, close to 2 cups of this mixture here, because again, we want to get enough fiber and complex carbohydrate from the apple to help fill in the gaps of this meal. You want to make sure that you feel satisfied after eating, because you don't, if you skimp on portion sizes too much, you're going to end up feeling hungry like an hour after you eat, and that's not going to be good. You're going to be searching around for some kind of snack. All right, and then we'll put this chicken on top here. Here we have it. We have our chicken over our Brussels sprouts and our apples. A nice warm fall meal. Wonderful flavors. Ooh, the rosemary. Yeah, they're not mushy. And sometimes, Bob, I was talking to you about this. Sometimes when you roast Brussels sprouts or other cruciferous vegetables, they kind of get a really strong, like sulfur taste or kind of like bitter taste. These are actually not bitter. Maybe it's specific to the batch. I don't know. The rosemary is really wonderful on this. So the outside of these crisped up a little bit, and then the inside is just nice and tender. Still a little bit of a bite. So good. And then the apples with the cinnamon. Oh yeah. It's delicious. I could just eat my whole meal right now, standing up. All right, thank you all so much for tuning in. I am going to enjoy this dinner with David right now. I hope y'all have a wonderful night. Lindsay is out this week, but we do have Jennifer if anybody is interested in prenatal nutrition. I don't know if anybody's pregnant here on the show, but if you have friends who are pregnant and are looking for pregnancy resources, Jennifer Schlub will be on tomorrow at 6 p.m. And then I'll be right back here on Wednesday at 7 p.m. So I hope to see you then. Have a wonderful night. Thanks, y'all.
PeoriaLife.com